Gibbs, driver of the 13 Mitigator Ford Fusion. I'd like to thank you for listening to Let's Talk Racing.tv.
Speedway. Thanks for listening to Let's Talk Racing.
I'd like to welcome everybody to Let's Talk Racing tonight. Tonight we got Anthony in here, Anthony Perez, working with Matt Mullins and myself. We also already have Katie Hagar on the phone, and Katie is the birthday girl for the day. All right. How you doing today, Katie?
I'm doing great. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Katie, we were just talking a little bit, but tell everybody what you do and what's going on.
Well, I've completed the NASCAR Drive for Diversity program and with Revolution Racing. So this year I'm focusing on my own team, which is Kitty Hager Motorsports, and I work full-time. However, I work on my race car every night, and I'm just trying to get it race ready so that we can get on track.
And, we were just talking, you're going somewhat for a full-time season, right?
Yeah, we're aiming for a full season. However, to be able to put in the full 20 races at Hickory Motor Speedway, that's hard to come by as far as financially and finding the sponsorship to be able to do so. So right now I'm kind of at a standing point with my race car, just trying to get it, to the point where I can get it race ready and do things properly and make it so, the way that I want it, so that I'm able to, do it right. And, I'm aiming for a 20 race. However, right now, I'd be happy to be able to get in, 10 full races.
Right. Well, getting any races in would be nice.
Yeah, exactly. But right now, I'm staying positive, and we're working on some good things right now, and there's always the option to be able to go racing. I mean, it's not finished for me. I'm always going to be a racer, and I hope that we're able to get some financial backing behind us so that we're able to go out there and compete, not just to race, but to race to win.
Right. And now, have you been on Hickory before?
Absolutely. I raced there all last year as part of Revolution Racing Team, and so I wanted to be able to really focus on a track that I was racing at and learned at and had some good seat time, and a lot of my good finishes that I've had and success was at Hickory Motor Speedway. And, everybody over there is great. The officials and the PR, and, they're really wanting to work with me a lot this year, which is great. We have a ladies' night. I think that's going to be in May. They're specifically going to be able to kind of direct it towards me and some of the other females that are going to be racing there. So I'm just trying to, focus on those specific dates that are really available to me to be able to get on track, knowing that I'll be ready by then.
Now, you said you had raced for Revolutionary Racing, and you went through that driver diversity program. Tell us about your experience with that.
It was a great experience. It was really able, it was actually an option for me that I was able to, take with me in my racing career. They helped me as far as the media and the exposure as well as on track. So I'm taking those tools and utilizing it towards my own race team, which I can focus on this year at one particular track, which is going to be Hickory. Racing there all last year, I just feel like I had to utilize those tools that they had taught me and pretty much just make it stronger for this year.
Well, what was it like going through the Drive for Diversity program? I mean, you competed to get that ride, right?
Absolutely. We had to go through an annual combine, and I've been with the program for 3 years, and they even gave me the option to move out to California and work with 2 different teams out there. So it was really a great experience because I was able to, not only travel around the United States, they make a full circle. I mean, I came from Maine, and then I went to North Carolina, and then I moved to California, and then back to North Carolina. So I feel like I kind of made a circle around the United States, but it was a great experience, and it's nothing that I would ever take back because there's things that I've learned through the diversity program that I wouldn't be able to learn on my own. So, you know, it was great for me to be able to do that, and, you know, I tried my hardest and completed their development, and now, like I said, I'm able to take my car that I've had since I was 16 and pretty much, not remodel it, but kind of change it to more like update it. So now I'm able to, you know, take that and focus on one particular car that, you know, I've driven since I was 16, and in the past 3 years I haven't been able to race it. So now my passion and my desire and a lot of respect going into my car and really learning how to build a car from the ground up. I mean, it's extraordinary. I mean, not a lot of girls can, or even racers can say that they've done that, especially be as hands-on as I am, and I like to be hands-on stuff.
Now, do you also work a full-time job?
I do. I'm currently working at Levitt Racing Components. I do a lot of their sales as well as their parts. However, I'm doing some welding over there for them. So it's great. It's a good time to be able to network myself, you know, with a lot of the racers and the teams and the people that come in and out of there, and to be able to help Levitt, you know, Racing Components as well as Steve. You know, they're good people. So I've had a good time working there so far.
And it sounds like you're willing to do about anything there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, they were really amazed. I think Junior was really amazed that, you know, I love to weld. That's kind of my passion, you know, to be able to aluminum weld and be as hands-on. And working around race cars all my life and growing up around racing, I was really able to apply my knowledge of racing, you know, to that kind of atmosphere. So it's great when somebody comes in and I actually have a clue of what some of the parts are. You know, that's always a plus.
Yeah, definite plus there. Being a person from Maine, what got you into racing?
Honestly, I'm not going to say that I was a troubled child, but I do believe in my teenage years I needed some direction in my life. I was such a competitor and such an athlete that that's all I really had to focus on. You know, I struggled in school. I didn't really have a whole lot of friends that I could rely on. So it was a time in my life where my parents really felt as if I needed some sort of direction to be able to focus on. I mean, it was always sports. And that's all I cared about. And for my dad to introduce me to racing, which was go-karts at the time, was a key component to my life. I feel as if it kind of saved me. And that's pretty much where I started. In 7th grade, my dad kind of gave me the option to race, and I said that I was on board, and in order to do that, I had to, you know, improve my grades, and it helped me because I was able to make a new group of friends, which was at the racetrack on Fridays. And so it really opened up, you know, something to my life that's missing.
So in other words, it kind of helped you change directions. Was your dad a racer?
My dad was never a racer. However, he took a gamble by, you know, buying a street stock, and he had a guy race it that he had formerly known, which was Bob Studley Sr. And even throughout my career of racing legacy cars, he actually was able to step in kind of as a crew chief role and really help me and learn the old school racing, so to speak. So it was nice because as kids, my brothers and I'm the only female, I'm the youngest of them all, and so we would go to the racetrack and spend a lot of our time there as kids. And so it wasn't necessarily a priority or an interest of mine at the time. I just kind of felt like we were there and supporting my dad and, you know, our family business and stuff at the time. And once I got introduced to actually being able to drive as a driver, that's when it really sparked interest for me.
And ambitions. Give me a little bit on your ambitions. What do you want to do?
I want to be able to race a full season this year and find some financial support so that I can continue with my career. And I definitely want to be able to move up to the K&N series, or, you know, possibly ARCA. Ultimately, I want to make it to the top 3 tiers of NASCAR, which are truck, Busch, and nationwide series and eventually the Sprint Cup level.
I didn't hear anything K&N. Are you even interested in?
Yeah, I said K&N series. I've always been interested in K&N series just because, I like the heavier cars. I like being able to travel. I think that's great exposure, especially when you bring sponsors on board. They're looking for advertisement and TV exposure, and that's something that they offer in that series. I've always, ever since I tested K&N cars, I've always been very fond of them. I don't know if it's just because I'm a little driver and I can feel the weight transfer a lot more in the bigger, heavier cars, but I also want to get more experience on bigger tracks. I can race short tracks. I still currently hold the track record out in California, which I keep in contact with them quite often. They kind of keep me up to date on what's going on out there on the West Coast. So I already have proven to myself that I can race on short tracks. And so now I want to get the experience to be able to race on bigger tracks, putting myself out there in front of more, fans, being able to work with tracks all over the United States.
Didn't you go out and run a late model race out at Irwindale for the Toyota Shootout?
No, I never got the opportunity to do
Okay.
that. However, I'd really like to. I've always been wanting to go out there and race, whether it's in their late models or K&N series. My good friend Candace, she actually raced out there pretty much a whole season out there when she first started racing, and I've heard a really lot of good things about racing out there. So I'm hoping that someday I'll be able to get the chance to race out there.
Now, did your family come down to you to Mooresville with you?
No, they currently still live in Maine. However, my parents have both been able to come down and visit and watch some races at times throughout last year, and they come down and visit me when they can. However, they both have full-time jobs and try and run the family company and stuff like that. So they're always welcome down here. But I try to get up to Maine as much as I can. I'm actually headed up there on the 19th to be able to do a show for them and work with the local YMCA. They're trying to get a swimming pool, and in order to do that, they have asked me to come up and make an appearance, and we've got a car that's going to be present at the time up there. We bought a hood specifically so that fans can sign and make a donation so that we're able to get the one and only first swimming pool of Damascus YMCA.
The one and only. Do you do a lot of charity work?
I do. I'm currently working with the Parents of Murdered Children, their program, as well as the American Breast Cancer Society. I've always been interested in doing charity work, and that's something that I'm a firm believer in. I just got done visiting the St. Louis Children's Hospital. I went and saw some kids and stuff up there, so I like to do charity work. It gives you a chance to really meet some good people and to put yourself out there and to show people who you are and, what you're able to do as far as helping them and making some awareness.
Charity work's always fun. It always has been fun.
It is. I wish more people would do more, with it, because right now it seems like the race schedules are so busy that a lot of people don't have the time to do it. And so I really take the time and sit back at the beginning of the year. I really wanted to focus on things that I really believed in. And, the program with Parents of Murdered Children, that was something that I was a firm believer in because I had a family experience with that. So I feel like it's an awareness that people really should be kind of informed about.
Yeah. I always like doing the Toys for Tots. That's one of the big ones that I always do every year.
Yeah, that's a really good program. I like that too.
And it's cool that you can give something back. As much as they give us, it's cool to kind of give something back.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm truly blessed to be able to do what I'm doing, and for me to go and visit local schools, I have a school program which is called Believe in Yourself 101. So I was able to apply that out in California when I was racing out there, as well as when I go home to Maine. I'm also working with programs here in North Carolina as far as the community, the Chamber of Commerce and things like that really kind of get you out in the community to show people and tell them, like, listen, I'm here, I'm a driver, I get this opportunity to do this. However, I'm also a person, and I can also support, what you guys have going on in the local community. I just think it's really important.
Hold on, I got to answer something on the chat room here.
Do you mind if I go ahead and ask you?
Go ahead.
All right.
We got Anthony Perez here too, so Anthony's going to ask you.
Okay.
Growing up, did you ever have any particular NASCAR driver that you looked up to, like one driver that did anything in particular for you that made them kind of your hero?
I always admired Mark Martin, and I'm not so sure if it was because my dad admired him, but I think it was because anytime you see Mark, he's very personable. He's very upfront, he's very honest, but at the same time, he carries himself in such a professional manner. Whether it's frustrating times or not, I feel like for him to be able to make a career, make a hobby, and support the things that he does, through the whole 50 years or even more of racing that he's been involved in, just feel like it's so admirable, because I hope that I am able to, to race the rest of my life, no matter what I do or where I live or, where I work or whether I'm married or have kids or whatever I do, I always feel like I'm going to have that racing passion in me. So for him to be able to carry that as far as he has, I just think it's really admirable.
You ran past modifieds?
I sure did.
Okay, I'm stalking your Facebook page. Sorry, we were looking at pictures and I seen the past modifieds. What'd you think? Tell us the difference between the modifieds and the late models, because you've been in both.
My father actually got me introduced to the modifieds because he wanted me to find the true respect of open wheel. For me to be able to race in the modified series, I feel as if I was able to get a true track feeling and really look at the left front on the way that it works. Comparing an open wheel to a stock car, modifieds are a lot quicker, they're snappier, they're very sensitive. So it taught me how to be careful, when it came to my throttle response as well as the handling of the race car. When I got into the corner, I was really able to see the differences with, the caster and the camber and the way that the left front works. And, to me, I considered them very assy. I don't know if it was because I had a larger fuel cell in the back, but it gave me a true respect for the open wheel as well as the weight. They're a lot lighter. I learned a lot of my racing side-by-side action in modified.
Did it have a steering quickener on it?
Honestly, at the time, I wish I was more educated on the technical aspect of the modified, but I felt like the steering response was much quicker than it would be, in a super late model or even in a late model in the steering boxes.
Yeah. Quickeners make things really reactive.
Yeah, and I actually had to kind of slow that down a little bit because coming from Hudson legacy cars, to make that initial jump was significant change for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had, I went from something that was kind of, slow, but at the same time as I had to be smooth, to something that was very quick, and I actually had to manhandle a lot more.
Yeah. Hold on, one of our other guests is getting put down here. I gotta. One of our guys on our chat room says that you could probably teach Hudson here how to drive better than Hudson knows how to drive. See you at Hickory. You gonna come down? You gonna go down to Hickory?
Am I?
We ought to. Well, now we ought to get you up here to Langley. We ought to see about getting you to come up to Langley.
Absolutely. I'd be on board 100%.
The Lions Den. Pay for the ride.
Pay for the ride.
Lots of say come to the Lions Den.
Come to the Lion's Den? Yeah, that's true. It's one of the toughest tracks.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah, I asked Philip Morris. The top dog in the state of Virginia came down, and he couldn't drive a peg in a watermelon down there when he found out about Langley. So, but
I thought too about Stockton, and it seems to me sometimes when they tell you that it's the hardest, you kind of want it even more to win there. So when they told me that about transferring from Madera to Stockton, after my 4th race, I was able to break the track record, and I was like, man, I'm loving this. I always believe what everybody tells me.
The one thing in all the years that I've been around racing and all the tracks that I've gone and run, the one thing that I've always learned is you always do better when you go into a new track. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do better the next time you come to that track, but
Right.
you usually do better than what you think when you come to a new track.
And that's something that I was thankful to be able to, travel with the past touring series, is that we were able to go to quite a few tracks, on the East Coast. So being able to do that at such a young age, I feel like my ability to adapt to different tracks, at a quicker pace than just staying somewhere locally, at a young age, I think that that's something that, I'm kind of blessed to have.
Yeah. Did you ever come up to South Boston?
Yeah, actually I do. They had the NASCAR Combine there a couple of years ago, as
Yep.
well as, I did some K&N testing there as well, and I seem to like that track quite a bit. I think the Passmore actually goes there as well.
Yeah, Pass does go there, and that's a fun track to run.
It is a fun track to run.
So when you were doing the Drive for Diversity, and I'm going to ask you this, you had a lot of famous people in there that were helping you all out. You want to name a few of them?
Well, Andy St. Cyr is definitely one of the most respected people that, has monitored and helped me a lot in my racing career. I mean, I just actually had lunch with him today, and he's a great mentor. And, somebody like that that's coming from Maine, that's had such success, winning 4 championships, in the Busch North Series at the time. I mean, those are the people that I want to surround myself with. I want people that are going to be honest and true, but, when they know that I need a kick in the butt, they know that, and they have a better way of telling me and teaching me, and people that know me. So I try to surround myself with people that, I trust and confide in. However, people that are going to monitor and manage me as a driver.
Right. Now, we were talking earlier before we got on air, and you're good friends with Candace Munsey and all that group. Are they helping you all out too?
Candace supports me, being as far as a friend and a driver, and, if I need something, that I can always go to her and ask for something. However, she's focusing on her career. We're friends, however, at some point in time, we seem to learn how to separate, both of our careers and our motorsports program, but if one another needs something, that, we're going to, communicate and be like, hey, you got a spring I can borrow. Those are the types of people that you need, especially with the economy being the way it is. You need people that you can talk to and even be able to race with. And you don't have to all be friends out on the racetrack. However, it's good to have those people support you, especially when you need guidance or help.
Friends usually stop when the green flag drops, isn't it?
Most of the time.
Yeah. Kind of like the old Dale Earnhardt saying, I'd wreck my own grandmother to win a race.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You're racing to win.
It's all fun until you start racing.
It's all fun until that green flag drops.
Absolutely.
Okay. Listen.
Terry's probably stuck on a doggone phone call with some of the stuff we've got running,
So we can keep going. Katie, what else do we want to talk about? Let's talk about something. You know what? I got a female on here. I'm going to ask you this. Danica Patrick.
And part of the stuff I told her we were going to talk about last week.
How do you feel about that whole situation with Danica?
I don't know Danica's full situation. However, I admire her being able to be in the Nationwide Series, coming from the IRL Series, jumping to NASCAR. She's in a whole different ballpark, and I think that she's starting to learn that. She's at a place where ultimately want to be at. So I'm not going to dog her for doing something, that I wish to be doing. I support her because I understand, the difficulties of, being a female in the racing industry. However, I feel like she's got a great opportunity for her. A lot of people want to be involved with junior motorsports. And, for her to be able to have Dale Jr. on her side, to help her to learn, the things and the differences between the IRL and NASCAR. I mean, she's got all the great people that she needs around her in order to learn that. And a lot of us, may not get that opportunity. So for her to be doing what she's doing, I support her. And, we all have our different ways of pretty much selling ourselves and how we market ourselves. Every girl is going to be different. But for her to be at the level that a lot of us want to be at, we can't take that away from her.
Right. Do you think, and this is nothing against Danica or anything like that, or I don't think she has anything to do with it, but do you think the press overplays her?
Well, I would say she's the only female or competitor right now that's in the Nationwide Series. Aside from Jennifer Jo Cobb, who comes up from, the Truck Series, I feel as if, she's in a different ballpark, and maybe that's why they target her. She's marketable. She came from the IRL. She's got some standings behind her that she's trying to capitalize on in a whole different world of NASCAR. So, they're supposed to target, females, especially if you're one of the few that are in the group. However, they also target Dale Jr. We don't know the reasonings why, but we're there to put on a show for the fans. And if the fans want to know more about certain drivers, that just comes with the sport, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, Katie, one of the things that has been bugging me for a while is that, like, when the other girls do get out there and race, just like you said with Jennifer Jo out there, she was out there running in Nationwide as well. You had Joanna Long out there running in the trucks, or was it the ARCA she was running in this time?
ARCA.
In the ARCA, and she qualified what, 5th or 6th? And there was a lot of stuff that they could have played on her too. I mean, if the girls are going to get out there and they're doing good, or even if they're out there, period, spread the wealth on getting some recognition for all these people,
Absolutely. I mean, as a female driver, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put our names out there, we're trying to market ourselves, and we're trying to do the best that we can under the same pressure that I think a male driver would get. So, I don't know why they play up one female driver more than the other. And that's too bad, because I wish the best for them all, and I hope to be there someday. However, it's all about how you put yourself out there. Unfortunately, I think Danica has been in the media and in the public eye a little bit longer than maybe Jennifer or Joanna. So it's hard to compare and contrast because all of us are so different. However, all you can do is to put your best foot forward and really try to put yourself out there in front of as many fans as you possibly can.
Well, next person we want to see out there would be Katie Hagar.
Absolutely.
Any relation to Sammy?
No, I wish. I'd either have good music to listen to or maybe some more financial backing to get me where I want to be.
Do you get asked that ever?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, so many times, and that's okay.
You're number 40,220.
Yeah, I'm probably number 40,000. So I'm going to ask this real quick. I got a 17-year-old boy sitting next to me, 16, okay? But I'm going to ask you this. Being a female, and I don't know if you're married or dating or whatever, but do you find that guys are more intimidating when you tell them what you do?
I don't think that they're intimidated so much on me telling them what I do. However, I feel like my athletic build is probably what intimidates them most.
Really?
Absolutely. I mean, I work out every single day. I train hard to be able to race hard. And when I go to the track, I make sure that I'm mentally and physically, ready to be able to race a full race and to compete to win. So, my personality, I don't think at the track comes off as intimidating. However, my stature and my build, as far as being such an athlete, especially being an athlete so young, I mean, I started sports at a very young age, and a lot of people don't know this. However, I used to split wood in order to make, my school money clothes, money for my school clothes. So, I always did things at a very young age that made me very muscular, and at times I think that it's helped me with my endurance as far as manhandling larger, bigger cars because of my build.
You just said something kind of interesting, and we see a lot of new. I've got another question for you, but I'm going to ask you this. But we see this new trend that you see Jeff Gordon's and Jimmy Johnson's and all that, and they're going to the gym and they're working out, and Tony Stewart's losing weight. Richard Petty's philosophy was, I'm fit enough to drive this car. And with you saying that, do you really feel that you have to work out that much to drive them cars?
I don't. I feel as if to be able to, maintain an endurance, stay healthy, being able to change your ways in order to be mentally and physically ready to race. I mean, back then, you don't really hear about them having to work out. However, nowadays, it seems like as an athlete, you pretty much train like a swimmer. It's all about endurance, and it's all about, healthy eating and stuff. It's more of awareness now than it was probably back in the day.
Well, yeah, back in the day, they were drinking beer, smoking cigarettes and cigars, and the big famous story of David Pearson lighting up a cigarette during a race, and when he flicked it out, he was gone. You don't see that anymore. You really don't.
And it's all about how you present yourself at the racetrack.
And that's true. That's true too. That's true.
And I also think that a lot of my working out, as far as training and stuff, I don't lift a whole lot to make myself muscular. That's just how I am. But I do feel as if to be able to maintain a steady workout, session throughout the week, not to help you just physically, but mentally.
Yeah, you got to be pretty fit to have a good mental state in a car. I got to agree with that.
Absolutely.
Hey, Katie, one of the people in the chat room, he's going to be testing his K&N car down at Greenville Pickens. Wants to know, you got any good pointers for him? Other than don't hit the wall.
Well, stay off the wall in 1 and 2. And I would have to say, when it comes down to race time, it's all about survival. I know that, a lot of our cars that came back last year, you got to kind of anticipate that you're going to beat and bang and fight for the front, because it's a very tight track, and it's a lot flatter than some of the tracks that they're typically used to going to throughout the season. So you just got to stay positive and don't, get down too close in 1 and 2. I mean, as long as you're probably about a quarter of an inch off the wall, you'll be doing good.
Only a quarter of an inch, right?
It's not much.
I helped Anthony, I think, the first time he went out, and I don't remember if I told him this, but I always told him when the exhaust changes the pitch, we got exhaust going out the right side in our cars. When you hear the pitch change, that means you're close enough to the wall.
Yeah.
So, and that's with the modifieds you can't, but in the late models, I mean, you can look for that pitch too, can't you?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I noticed, testing down there last year for Revolution. I mean, it was really a chance for me to kind of explore again at another track and be able to kind of figure out the key points. Where's your entry? Where do you gotta lift? Are you using brakes? Do you have to use a lot of brakes? Do you have to use a little brake? Where do you let it roll? How far out do you let it drift, or do you suck it down in towards the wall coming off the 2? There's a lot of things that play into testing, and utilizing your testing time at some racetracks like that. It's really flat. So the first thing to me coming from the north was, okay, well, it's a lot of like Oxford Plains Speedway. It's really flat. You don't have that banking, unless Hudson or, some tracks out on the West Coast. So, you always, as a driver, you always just kind of make mental notes and, to yourself and do the best you can and pretty much just drive from the seat of your pants.
Right. I've always said that you learn more from your butt than you do anything else.
Well, my old crew chief out in California, he always said that. My ass never lies. So, the first time that I went out there, he tested me and, really made the car loose. And, when I was able to come in and really tell him what was going on with the car, and right then and there, we were able to find that trusting bond that you have between a crew chief and a driver. And I think that that's why I had most of my success was out on the West Coast in 2009 because of that factor.
Right. And I'm going to ask you this because I hear it a lot, and I hear it out of a lot of drivers. Are you the type that's willing to change your line and change the way you drive to kind of fit the car? I mean, if it's a little tight, you can't drive it in as hard, or are you the type that you want to hit them same marks every single time?
I try to be consistent as possible. I mean, that's in order to save your tires. I mean, that's just something that you have to do.
Right.
Consistent. However, you still be able to, need to be fast. So when a car isn't to my liking, I feel like I have to change the line a little bit just because, I can't make a car do something that it doesn't want to do. I mean, to me as a driver, in order to save my tires and be smooth, I've had to adapt, change my line to, a certain way, but be able to maintain the consistency and know that the last 25 laps to go, I still have something, worthwhile on my tires to even work with. Right.
Well, here's another thing, and you just brought that up. Do you like the 50 lappers, or do you like the 100, 125, 200 lappers?
I mean, either way, to me, it's all about strategy. With the 50 lapper, I feel like I can be a little bit more aggressive just because I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time to waste. I gotta get going, but at the first 25 laps, or 30, you kind of have to save yourself a little bit, really be aggressive and competitive towards the end, so that you've got something to work with at the end. However, long races, it's pretty much about saving your tires. However, it's a lot about survival. You got a lot of people that are trying to race real quick up front. However, you got a lot of weapons, so to speak, in the back. So
right.
It's a lot about strategy. It's a lot about how you work with your team in order to be there in the end.
Right. You're getting a lot of comments on our chat. Great speaker. People see you going places, and I see you going places too. Do we have a game plan on, do we have a time frame?
I'm not going to give myself a time frame because, like I said, I'm a true racer. I have a passion, to always race and no matter what I do. I'm just hoping that I'm able to get myself out there so that I can get the financial support to be able to go places and move up. If I was, more financially supported, I would like to think that I'd be able to be a great competitor in the K&N series. However, I can't move up until I have that support behind me. And as of right now, I'm not going to give myself a game plan. I feel as if my determination and, my motivation to be able to work on my race car every night and get it race ready and do the best I can with what's given to me. Unfortunately, we can't control everything. And for me, as long as I'm able to get some races in this year with the potential, options to be able to move up, I feel like that's something that I'm going to take on the task when it's available to me.
Right. One of our guys in here, the one that's going to go test the K&N car, he says he feels like you could sell some sponsorship here. You ever thought about that?
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I've got a great marketing kit, and, I've revamped a lot of things. We're working on a new website. I've made several of attempts to meet with people and to put myself out there. I'm doing the best that I can that I know how to do as far as making people aware of look, this is what I'm trying to do. This is where I'm going. You know, these are the charity events that I support. You know, I feel like most of my compliments are on working on the race car. You know, I feel as if there's not a lot of females that are, you know, capable or actually work hands-on as much as I have with race cars. You know, I took an '05 head chassis and revamped it and I built it from the ground up. So, you know, I'm trying to take on the task and some of the things that I haven't done in the past now that I'm able to do on my own with the people around me to really learn how are these things built. You know, I know I can tell you what the car is doing. I know what's in them for setup. However, how are these things structurally built? And that's what I'm getting to the point now. You know, I feel like I'm kind of doing things a little bit backwards. However, as a driver, you know, that's what I've been taught. They just tell you to get in and drive. Well, now I'm going back and really putting the full puzzle pieces together of, you know, okay, how are these things built? I know the setup. I know, I can tell you how it is and how it feels, but what is the true meaning behind these cars? You know, late models are a lot different than super late models. You know, the structure and the build of them are totally different, as well as from the trucks to, you know, nationwide cars to ultimately sprint cars. So I'm trying to fill in those blanks that I've always been curious about and always been very, you know, I've always admired them. So that's the good thing about, you know, being able to, you know, be able to work on my race car with Katie Hagar Motorsports. I've been able to now fill in the blanks that were left open.
Now, you got any help on this car, or is this just you?
Well, I mean, I do have some help. You know, I've got a lot of great people that are behind me. You know, I've got 2 people helping me right now that are very educated on these cars. So I have full trust in them, you know, and it's fun. I'm going back to racing that's fun. And that's what's special to me. You know, today's, it's my birthday. However, you know, the only thing I want to do is pretty much work on my race car. You know, that's a priority of mine, and I'm so determined to get back on track and show people that I'm still trying to continue, you know, my racing career, whether or not I'm in the Drive for Diversity or Revolution Racing. You know, I can still do this because I'm a driver and I'm Katie Hagar, and ultimately, I'm teaching myself things that haven't been able to learn in the past.
Robert, are you there?
Yes, sir.
I think we found you a nationwide driver. Have you been listening in?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Katie, we got Robert Richardson Jr. on the other line.
Nice to meet you, Robert.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing good. So I've been kind of listening here in the past couple of minutes, what we're talking about.
You were able to join us this evening.
Yeah, you should have.
Robert Richardson, nationwide driver, drives Cup, and Katie's running late model down at Hickory. So are you all down in the area? And Katie's been on here with us for 45 minutes, and it's been a great conversation. Somebody's asking, are you selling any T-shirts, Katie?
We are working on some T-shirt designs, and those will be available on my new upcoming website. And so we're going to get those out to, you know, the fans as soon as possible.
Okay, well, you're going to have to send us one. You know that.
Absolutely. You know I do that for you, right?
All right. Katie, I'm going to let you get off of here, and we're going to talk to Robert a little bit. Plug some sponsors. I know you got a few of them out there, and we'll let you go.
However, right now I can't announce that at this time. It will be announced on my new upcoming website. We're working on some great relationships and some deals right now in order to get me on track for this year. However, we're always looking, you know, to build some new relationships with some businesses that are out there that are looking to join a winning team.
And we are going to support you fully, and if we can get anything for your area, we're going to send them right to you.
Great. I appreciate it, you guys. Thanks for having me on tonight. Have a great night.
You too. Thanks, Katie.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Let's see, where are we at?
One. There you go. Robert, my man, what's up, bud?
I'm just running around like a chicken with my head cut off right now.
Are we in Texas or are we up in Mooresville?
I am in Texas, but I will be in Mooresville next week.
Where are we running next week?
Bristol,
Just the nationwide?
Yes, sir.
Do what?
Yes, sir. We will be just focusing on the nationwide program.
Now, are you gonna? I missed you the last time you were on the show. Are we gonna do a full time?
As far as nationwide series goes?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna run full boat. Do you got a second car too? Are you gonna put anybody else in any cars?
That's always a possibility. We actually just finished our new addition to our shop, where we now have a lot more room to run a second team if possible. But right now, I'm focused on running the full season with the 23 car and having Wildlife Conservation Society on board with us for the nationwide series, and focus on Bristol coming up in a week or two.
Now that ought to be a fun place to run.
Yeah.
It has been a pretty fun place. Since they've resurfaced it and repaved the racetrack, it's definitely got a lot of different characteristics than what it's had in the past. But Bristol is a fun place to race. But it's about like Daytona. It's a big crapshoot whether or not you finish the race.
It's not if there's a big wreck; it's just when.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, other than that, what's going on with you guys?
Not much.
Not much.
We're just hanging out here, trying to get ready for the race season. Are we down there hunting or anything?
Not yet. I'm actually going to go out to Lake Fork out here in Texas this weekend and do a little bit of bass fishing this weekend. So it's the first time I've had an opportunity to go do a little bit of that. So I'm going to make the most of it here on our week off. But, I'll be in Charlotte next week, flying on Monday, and I'll be there all week and be able to ride up to the racetrack with the guys. Ready to rock and roll there in Bristol.
We should get him out here sometime and take him out shark fishing.
Well, I was just getting ready to say we were going to try to do it last year, but we need to get you up here and go do some deep sea fishing.
I wouldn't want to embarrass you guys and all your friends.
Well, you definitely embarrass me because I can't. Now, go bass fishing or trout fishing? Let's go. I've never been deep sea fishing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've quite a bit of experience deep sea fishing. We go out, like during the Homestead race, we go out and go offshore and fish quite a bit with a charter boat captain friend of ours and Isla Morada. We go offshore quite a bit, but don't get to do that near as often as I'd like to. But, right now, we're just going to focus on running the nationwide series and promoting Wildlife Conservation Society as much as possible, and hopefully be on your show every week. But,
we would love to have you on here every week. We're going to get you to guest commentary. Now,
get all the good stuff in the garage that not a lot of people get to hear about.
Yeah, got any good scuttlebutt out of the nationwide? This is a good question for you, and I'm going to ask this real quick. What do you think of this new deal where you got to sign up for one series and run points for that one series?
Well, I mean, I think it's great, because I primarily focus on just running one series anyway. But, guys like Carl Edwards and Kyle Busch and all those guys, just gives them an ultimatum on, what they want to focus on, and most of them have picked the Cup Series championship, so that eliminates them from taking all the points, from the regular nationwide series drivers.
Yeah, one of the things my contention was last year, Justin Hagar would have won the series last year,
Yeah. Yeah, Justin, he's been doing pretty good here the past couple of races, Turner Motorsports, and consistently running in the top 10, so he's kind of picked up right where he left off. I'm eager to see, what he can do this year, by the end of the season.
Yeah, well, and you guys got like Reed Sorensen. Somebody just pointed out Reed's leading the points. Justin's like third, I think, isn't he? Third or fourth?
He should be close up there because he finished, second last weekend?
Yeah. Well, who was it in the top 10 in Cup? And I'm going to ask you about the new point standings, too. David Gilliland is top 10 in the Sprint Cup points. That it seems kind of weird to see these names up there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a new and interesting way that NASCAR has come up with a new point system. And I know a lot of fans are out there struggling and trying to keep up with the new system, but it's pretty much you get a point for every position that you gain on the racetrack. that you stay ahead of that. Say you get 43 points, you win the race, obviously, but I think you get a certain amount of points for leading a lap, for leading the most laps, and obviously winning the race. But it's definitely challenging for the new race fans to keep up with.
So, do you like the new point system? And they're doing it in the nationwide there too, aren't they?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I like it because I'm sitting in the top 20 points right now. So we're sitting in the top 20 drivers' points, and we're in the top 30 in owners' points. So things are definitely going in the right direction for us and for everybody at R3 Motorsports.
Well, then, as soon as after 5 races, you're going to have a guaranteed spot in the nationwide, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's a good thing.
It's always a good thing.
Oh,
We're definitely very optimistic about this year, and a lot of the guys are pumped up about the new addition we've got at our shop, and start moving equipment this next week over to there. And, I'm actually going to the shop to start furnishing the offices and things of that nature, and just everything snowballing, and just something bigger and bigger as the weeks progress here. And having Wildlife Conservation Society on board with us this year just made everything that much better.
and they're going to be on for the full year, right?
Yes, sir.
And now I bet you're excited to have that on there.
Well, I mean, not just that, but the awesome paint scheme we're running. Sam Bass designed, the paint scheme for the 23 car, and she's been a big help, this year with our team and helping us get noticed, and vice versa. We're getting Sam's name out there, and we're helping promote him and all his artwork that he's been doing for NASCAR.
We had him on the show a number of weeks ago, and one of the nicest guys. And if y'all thought Katie talked a lot, Sam does, doesn't he?
Sam is a little bit long-winded, but it's all good news that he has to talk about.
Yeah, not a negative bone in his body, is there?
No, sir, not at all.
Bobby Gobble just got on here, and he said to ask you about the special decal that you're going to run for Bree.
Yeah, I actually have been promoting the Hagar family and talking about Brehm on my Facebook page via this week. But I've been talking with Bobby this week about getting some decals made to promote, her battle with cancer and everything she's been going through the past couple of months with her and her family. And I made a donation to her mother this week and the Hagar family, and to trying to help her cure the cancer and help the family out as much as possible.
Do you take on a lot of I know you're big into the wildlife, and you're also big into the charity. What else kind of charity work have you been doing?
Well, in the past, I've dealt with the hospital of Dallas. Done some stuff with St. Jude's when we used to race at Memphis. I haven't really heard this year if St. Jude's is going to be involved with NASCAR this year as far as letting the kids design the paint schemes for various drivers and things of that nature. We've done that in the past, but we're going to do a little bit of research this year and see if we can't get in contact with those guys and help them out as much as we can.
Yeah. Bobby's on our chat room, and he said to thank you very much for the donation you did. It was greatly appreciated, and we thank you too.
Absolutely. If it wasn't for Bobby, none of us would really know about it. And I've been.
How long are you doing this?
Yeah, that was mine. I forgot to put it on vibrate. Sorry, guys.
Now, he had said something. You got a decal or something you're running for Bree on the car?
We just talked about that.
I was sitting there reading the chat room.
Doc's in the middle of next year. So,
you never know. I mean, we may dedicate a paint scheme, for Bree at a certain race, or maybe give her a hood spot or a deck lid spot or something to promote her battle with cancer and let everybody in the NASCAR garage know about her.
Cool.
That would be cool. Now, we're gonna see you at Richmond, right? You're gonna be up at Richmond?
Are you guys going to Richmond?
We would like to.
All we're going to do is call Tim, and we'll have that all set up. You know that.
Exactly.
I'll be there Thursday.
You shouldn't have to ask me if I'm going to be there. I'll be there as long you guys show up, and I'll be there.
All right. So, what do you think of the new COT, the Impala? I know they're not calling it the COT, but the Nationwide's got the new car, the new design. What are you thinking of it?
Well, I mean, I think that the new designs are awesome. You know, all the race fans and everybody that I've talked to, they really enjoy, the new designs and the new bodies that are on the Nationwide Series cars, and especially the Dodge Challengers. That's what we've got with our team this year, and everybody just really admires how sharp and how mean those cars look out on the racetrack. And driving them is a completely different animal. The tracks don't roll over near as much as the older cars do. But it's just something that drivers have to adapt to and learn how to make it handle better.
Are you have you found that you're going back to a big spring soft sway bar on these newer cars?
Well, there's only so much travel you can get out of the new car, so we have been coil binding primarily on the right front spring, but a lot of the teams that have been going faster the past couple of weeks have been coil binding on the left front spring. So we're trying to get the biggest sway bar in it as we can, and still run soft springs in the front. So just try to get the attitude of the cars where you want them, keep that splitter sealed up, and get after it.
Yeah.
With all the changing that I've been watching, everybody, just like you were talking about the changing and everything, do you think eventually you guys are going to get almost to the point where the car is just going to be almost just totally set all the way around all four corners just to keep it where you want it to be?
Well, I don't think we'll run soft springs in the rear. I mean, at flatter tracks you can get away with that, but the tracks where you carry the higher loads on the things like the 1.5-mile track and the super speedways, you can't really get away with running the softer springs in the rear. But super speedways NASCAR limits you to what you run for rear springs anyway. But at the intermediate tracks is something that a lot of these teams are going to try to get a hold of. But if anything, I wish they would run bump stops in the Nationwide cars and do away with the setup that we've been running here lately.
Robert, we got Anthony Perez here. He's kind of a new driver here. He's got a question for you.
Okay.
Going from the old Nationwide car to the new Nationwide car, is the handling a whole lot different? Do you like it more, or what?
Well, me personally, I like the older cars drove because the chassis would roll over so much, that right front tire down, and really get and turn in the corners, whereas these new cars, there's not as much roll over in the chassis, so you still kind of feel like you're sitting up straight in the seat, and you're trying to turn the wheel, and it's not putting as much load on the right front tire to get it to turn. So a lot of teams are trying to figure out how to get that weight transfer to the right front or left front spring and make the cars turn better. So all the teams have been battling the past couple of races. Some guys have figured it out, and some guys haven't. We're getting there. I mean, the cars have been getting better every week. And, I'll be eager to see, how they're going to act at Bristol when you're running a short track, but it's got so much load into the corners. How it's going to react to the setup.
Right. Somebody in our chat room's asking, what do you think of the new gas cans?
I think they're pretty cool. I've been, watching the other day I watched the Cup race. I can't see the gas can from inside the car, obviously, but watching it, when they're doing pit stops in the Cup Series race, they dump the fuel in the car, I think, a little bit quicker than what we used to. It's just that new funnel suit that they've got in there, the air bubbles and everything. It's like when people try to fire off after they get their pit stop done, it takes a little bit longer to get the car to take off. So, some cars you'll see kind of hunching up and then, taking off out of their pit stop rather than doing the burn out right out of the box like you used to do.
Right. They keep saying that it slows them down, that it's knocked almost a second off the pit stops.
Well, the fuel guys that I've been watching are pretty much matching, the tire changers as far as the time when they get that second can, put in, and then by the time the tire changers are done and they drop the jack, they pretty much got all the fuel in the car. But I know the gassers have been trying to adapt to that new fuel system. They've really got to be accurate with plugging that fuel can into the fuel cell and dumping as much fuel in there as fast as they can. So it's a learning experience for them, and it's a learning experience for us and everybody at NASCAR. Seeing how the changes they've made are reacting, and if they need to make any changes, what they need to do.
Yeah. Anthony here is a new driver. He ran a couple races last year, and he's just getting into it. He just joined the Race 101 program. So,
Okay.
What kind of advice can you give a new guy like him?
Just to turn wrenches on those race cars, man. Just try to learn as much as you can about the car that you're driving, and be there at the shop and work with your team, work with your guys, and create that teamwork and that camaraderie, with all your guys, and become family pretty much, and live and breathe, and racing as much as you can, but also when you're out there, try to learn what changes do what and how it makes the cars react while you're out there on the racetrack. If they change a spring or change a shock or plug for Ackerman and things of that sort, just feel it out. Make a mental note or carry a notepad around at every racetrack that you go to. Write down those changes and what you felt, and keep it in a log, so when you go back to that next race or go to the same racetrack again, kind of know what to expect. Where to let off, where to use brake, where to get back in the gas, and things like that. But those are things that I did when I was starting out racing cars and late models and rest on that. And occasionally I still keep a log at certain tracks. Nowadays, keep all of our setup sheets in my notes.
Yeah, and Race 101, they're really teaching us how to work on the cars and what adjustments really do what, because I just came up out of mini cups and going to the big car, and there's so many more changes and we weren't really sure what to do. So just making adjustments on the car and seeing what they do and trying to learn a little bit more. That's one thing that we're really going to have to do this year, do some testing and stuff like that, just to try to understand what adjustments on the car do what.
Yeah. I mean, and the car, the nationwide cars, you're tight from the center off. Typically, we'll either put more right rear spring to the car to try to pin the nose down more and let it rotate off of the right rear tire when we come back to the throttle. So it just all depends on what car you're driving and what changes are acceptable to that series. So it all depends on the rules and regulations and whatever series you're running, what changes they'll allow you to make.
He's stuck with the same spring. It's all spec springs.
Yeah.
So I told him to learn how to drive. Don't touch it until you know how to drive it. And once you know how to drive it, then you can make a change, and then you can know exactly what it does.
Yeah, a lot of the guys at the shop, they don't want the drivers touching anything on the race.
That's true. That is so true.
Especially the motors. You don't hardly see any drivers going near a motor, but when I'm in Charlotte and I'm working at the shop, I can change out transmission, rear end gears, drive shaft, pull axle, do all that kind of stuff, and help out whatever they'll help with. So,
But they won't let you touch the motor, though, will they?
yeah, the only time they'll let me touch the motor is if we're dropping one in on a cherry picker and we have to drop it down underneath the tunnel and all that stuff. And they bolt it up, but that's the only time they'll let me even go near it.
That might be a good thing, right?
If I get near it, they might punch me in the face. It's definitely, racing has been a lot of fun, and coming from playing football and getting into racing, having that same feel of teamwork and camaraderie is just a lot of fun. On top of that, you get to be competitive and compete with a lot of the race car drivers that are out there.
They're giving me guff here in the chat room. Hold on one second.
Matt grief about being over here with Anthony being a Pro 6 driver in the same series.
Okay, the trailer thing was not fair. And we're going to leave that one alone. The trailer thing was not fair.
Hey, I heard the other day there's a rumor I was building a Pro 6 car.
Who put that in there? The trailer
trailer
thing was I'm not even going to get into it. Have you ever had a car fall off a trailer?
No.
Robert?
Like, yes.
Yeah, see?
I had a car ramp over trailer. That's different.
We were at Texas Motor Speedway, and I was running the restrictor plate race out there in the Ron Coast Super Late Model Series that I was running at the time. And the truck driver decided to unload the car early and kind of impress everybody before everybody got to the racetrack. And he tried to unload the car by himself and forgot to put the chalk
behind the back tire.
And it rolled right on off, didn't it? I've seen that done.
He definitely, did a doozy to the race car, but they actually ended up repairing the car and we ended up winning the race. But it was definitely pretty wadded up. It just fell off the tailgate, the rear bumper just smashed into the ground, and the nose and the lip of the nose was still caught on the edge of the lift gate, so it was pretty much just sitting straight up in the air. Like it was going to take off like a rocket ship. It was pretty funny, but when you think about it now, but at the time we were pretty mad at the guy.
You got pictures of that? That would be a good one.
Yeah, he didn't end up keeping his job, sadly, but it was definitely an experience I won't forget. Showing up to the racetrack that day and going, what? And having to start thrashing on the car.
Yeah, get the picture and have a caption like, "These are professionals. Don't do this at home."
Yeah. I mean, we didn't get any pictures of it. I'm sure somebody did, but we didn't.
I've heard of it, and I'm not going to mention any names, but a certain truck team went to Bristol one time, and the truck driver forgot to tie down the two trucks.
Oh, man.
And they beat and battered against each other so bad they couldn't run them. They actually had to go back down to Mooresville, get another truck, and bring them back up.
Wow.
So, yeah, I had a minor. You ever had ramps kick out on you on an open trailer?
No, I can't say that I've had that.
I had that happen here not too long ago going to a car show. Driving up on it and the ramps kicked out. It didn't hurt nothing, they just kicked out and the car dropped down, not a big deal, but
it just looked cute as hell.
It did look kind of funny, and it was a little work to get it fixed. So
it's one of the things we're not going to let him get away with, not forgetting about.
So, yeah, they're not going to let me forget that.
Oh, God.
So, Robert, I've got two more guys I got to get in here and get interviewed. Plug your sponsors here real quick.
Hey, have you seen the new paint scheme?
Yes, I have. It is a good-looking paint scheme. I really like it. Sam Bass did it.
Yep.
Excellent artist. Really is.
I wish Sam would have told us he was going to be doing that.
Well, he probably, it was in the works. You had to get it done, and then you can say who it is. So,
if anybody's interested in keeping up with our organization and want to check out the new paint scheme for the Wildlife Conservation Society Dodge, feel free to go by r3motorsports.org and check out the new website that we're working on, and the car pops up right off the bat there. But if anybody else has any other questions they need to ask me about racing or just life in general, come find me on Facebook. I keep in touch with all my fans and answer any questions that they may have.
Well, we will definitely keep that in mind, and good luck at Bristol. Have fun.
Oh, I will. Well, Bristol's a pretty fun little place. It's just it gets a little hairy at times.
Yeah, I'll bet it does. And
I should call Tim to see if he's got some more room to go in on the track. I might go down.
Well, I'll be sure to mention that to him next time I talk to him. But you boys have a good evening, and as always, thank you for having me on the show, and I'll see you down the road.
You got it. Take care, Robert.
Be safe.
Bye. He's always fun. Robert's always fun. He's one of them.
Yeah, he's been on here a few times.
He's a I hate to say.
He's a regular on our show.
Yeah, he's a regular. He's just a down to earth kind of guy.
Talk probably at least once, twice a week.
So Richard has been giving me guff this whole time.
Somebody was supposed
And he
to
says he's ready to be on. Come on, Richard. Come on. Come on down.
I think last time we had him was when we were at the. Well, once again, you weren't here. We were at the Chinese place.
Yeah, both me and Brandon were here.
You know, we went down. We had it here when Brandon and Richard were here. Brandon and Richard, we did the show down here.
We did it here and then went there.
And went there. I was here. Yeah. But we just had Brandon. I don't think we put Richard
both
on.
was there.
Did we put Richard on?
I don't know if we put Richard on, but I know. Yeah, I think we did. We had them up here side by side.
It's ridiculous how much we have to spend to make up for my lack of talent. That's Richard. Come on, never mind. Now that's blasting you, Richard. You can't do that.
Well, hey, I hate to say this, it happens up in the upper fields as well too.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've always said it, and I believe this wholeheartedly, and I'll say it to the day I die. Anybody that's willing to get into a race car and do what race car drivers do, you got to have respect for them. I don't care about if it's U cars, Legends, late models, Cup. You got to have enduros. Get into an enduro car. You got to have respect for that driver because he's doing. Well, no, because some people can't do it. I've known a lot of people that have gotten in cars and said, hey, I did it once. I don't want to do it again.
I remember taking one of my sponsors from up in Iowa, brought him down here, put him in an enduro car, and let him run a race.
Yep. So, Richard, don't even think that. You've been doing it for, how long has he been doing it? 7 years? 8 years now? 9 years now. So, yeah, you're doing something that a lot of people can't do.
He's seen for both sides. The sponsor side and the race side.
Yeah, Richard, you've seen it from both sides. You really have. You've sponsored the cars. You've gone out and gotten the sponsors. So even if you drive slow.
He's probably the office right now. Just sitting there.
You know exactly what he's doing.
He's down at the office. He's been having a blast on here. 1 year. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
Sportsman of the Year award going. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awards.
So, and Richard's actually, and y'all can confirm this, he's one of the nicest guys out there. He really is. Hard Charger. He's gotten a Hard Charger award, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over Hudson, 13 cars right to turn 1, but hey, he got the hard charger.
He got the Hard Charger. And I know he heard you. He says he gets a little better each year, and that's what keeps him going. That's what you're supposed to get better every year.
Let me scoot in there.
Hudson, you're too big.
I am not. It's too cramped.
It's
too cramped.
Gotta go on that diet.
I am.
He's starting to remind me of Tony.
I've been trying to drag him to the gym that boss man pays for all the time.
I've been gone for a week in Wisconsin, so I'm sorry. And my wife had to fatten me up while I was there, so I'll start tomorrow.
You should have been helping out working the other side.
Love you, Chris.
Shut up, TJ. That's what he does. All the time, TJ. He'll hug it on me, like, hey, how's it going? And do his little stutter thing and make fun of me. Yeah.
Richard thinks Sportsman of the Year means that he spent the most money. No, Best Appearing Car means you spent the most money. So if you didn't get that,
No, best appearing team.
Best Appearing Team,
Best Appearing
Best
Team.
Appeering Team
Yes,
means you
yeah.
spent the most
Car
money.
Mars with the Matt McCall. We know he didn't spend the most money.
So there goes the show.
And I was going to talk nice about him. I really was.
You were going to talk nice about Richard, and he's sitting there. He's been
You want to
blasted.
show up your helmet?
No, that's
your
all
brain
right.
trade?
Nah, but Rick really is. He's really showed me a lot, a different side of racing. You know, I've seen a lot of sides of racing, but Rick's really showed me, the sponsor side, what sponsors want, what team owners want, and what teams want. And he's really worked with me a lot to help increase, my worth in racing. He's just a great guy all around. I mean, we talk a lot during the week on the phone and personal life, and then the work life, then the racing life. So he's really taught me how to manage life better. So I mean,
You're helping out Richard Godovic Racing. I guess that's what you call
Precision
it.
Performance Motorsports.
Precision
Performance
Motorsports. Sorry. Raises for everyone. Does that mean me too? Do I get a raise, Richard? No, we are communicating. Doing a K&N thing this year. You're going to do a little bit of racing this year. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Well, Mike Southard, he races at Old Dominion, and he brought me on to run their house car late model for Langley. He's been in Langley a few times. Didn't have the great luck there, but he's going to be doing their track racing driving school out there. So he kind of brought me on to run their late model for a few races, and we'll see where that goes. And then, of course, I'll go travel with Rick and them when they do their K&N deal.
K&N thing.
And really, that's been really good. They got a really good group of guys. The guys in the shop just work tremendous, And right now they're on their way to Greenville Pickens, And so looking forward to seeing the season opener in a few weeks, seeing how Rick and Brandon do.
They're going to test tomorrow at Greenville Pickens?
Friday.
Yeah,
Friday.
Yeah. Rick's leaving tomorrow, I believe. So.
Okay. Brandon going down too?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's a big thing. They're jumping in full time K&N East.
Yeah.
This year. One
thing about Rick and them is that they don't do stuff half. Rick really set a standard, for new teams coming in. I mean, the haulers, the shop, the equipment, the crew chiefs, the cars, the engines, they're all top notch, and they're really going in, with Rookie of the Year in mind, winning races, top fives, and with the crew chiefs they have and the knowledge behind that, it's just you can't put a price on it. Well, you can, Rick can, but but really just with the knowledge out there, it's just really it's
that wasn't
great.
Me. Whose phone was it?
That's not me.
A laptop.
Not Roger's fault.
Richard's sucking up to y'all. He says you're one of the kindest people he knows. And you and Mason are two of the hardest working people that he knows. And I know he's lying about that. So, looking forward to it. Do we got any sponsors? I know we got some things going on.
Well, I know that PPM, or Precision Performance Motorsports, is working on stuff. They have great things in the work. And but as for myself and with the late model deal, we got First Command Financial Planning, drivingwebdesigns.com, Balance Industries, and we just got Coke today through Timothy, help bring that deal to us, and Genesis Uniform Centers for the nice team uniforms. So
it's pretty good.
Yeah, so I mean it's come together, it's coming together. So we'll see how things go, and then of course we'll be watching Anthony race and trying to see. I didn't see him race much last year. I got back into town late, but from what I did see,
he did a good job. He made leaps in bounds. He's got a little bit more. He's got a ways to go, but he really did a great job. You really did.
What's helping him is starting off young in a good series. I mean, you could have went to UCAR. Did you race UCAR?
No, the only thing I've ever raced is arena cars before Pro 6.
I never did that. I started in pure stocks, and back in those days, it was. I mean, it was.
It was cutthroat.
It was.
Back then.
It was. I mean, with Duke Gibbs,
very cutthroat.
With Duke Gibbs, Mark Wirtz, and a bunch of the big time guys now. I mean,
Kevin
Ricky
Raker, I think, was still running.
Yep, and Gary Furby.
Gary Furby.
That car scared the crap out of me every time I saw it. With the nose on. I mean, he had one of them like tank noses on it.
Yeah.
It scared me every time it was behind me.
That thing was cut up and so illegal, it wasn't even funny. But who else do we have in there? The 7. Who was in the? Furby was 07.
07, and then we had Chris Russell was 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave Gray, Bobby
Brandt.
Robert Ellis.
Right. Yep. Robert was running then. Who was the guy at the big Monte Carlo?
Oh, Ginger Freeman ran.
Ginger ran one, and Corey Fogelman.
Yeah, Corey Fogelman. Yeah.
Corey was tough.
And Kenny Ferris.
Kenny was in there. Yeah, I forgot about Kenny.
Well, see, Bo ran Grand Stock for a few years, and then with late model.
I know his dad ran.
Yeah, Frank ran pure stock, but it was before Mr. Hall here.
Yeah, pure stock was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, just keep up what you're doing.
Yeah.
The Race 101 program is just a great. Tony Blanchard is somebody that I talk to a lot, and he's good at what he does. So just believe in what he says.
He's a really smart guy. He knows a lot of stuff about race cars. He knows everything.
What are they letting Tony Stevens tell you? Hopefully not much.
Well, he's helping us out with the marketing stuff. Him, Anna Marie, and Adam Ross, they're helping us out with the marketing stuff. Tony Stevens is a pretty cool guy. He really knows a lot of stuff about marketing.
Next time you see him, tell him I said Joe Pins.
marketing nowadays is just so it's so off the chain nowadays compared to where it was 10 years ago. You know, I mean, the economy is low, but I mean, it's all about the package you put out, and I've learned that with Rick. You know, with just going about how their package is. It's so detailed and it's so precise. You know, so I'm taking that, trying to learn on how to improve mine. You know, and hopefully, you know, with what we're trying to do, and then hopefully one day I can bring drivers up and, you know, kind of do my own thing too. So, yeah.
Oh, that's okay. Old age is sitting in. It's either way back here or it's way up here.
So when's your first race? Is it like
our Pro 6 season starts in April 23rd, and then practice starts sometimes this month. You know when practice?
March 19th.
Okay.
What time is that? Because I've had people ask on Facebook. What time is practice?
If it did like it did last year, it opens up at like 10, but practice don't start till about 1. And you got to be pre-inspected before you go back in. Now you've gotten a sponsor now.
Well, we don't really have a sponsor. We actually just started working with the Victory Junction gang. I was talking to them for a few weeks, and a couple weeks ago I heard from them, and they said they would like to work with us. So we're happy to be working with them and supporting that charity this season.
Cool. And
that's an awesome charity. That really is.
Yeah, Victory Junction Gang's really a cool thing.
We're gonna try to do as much as we can for them this year. It costs $2,500 to send one child to the camp, so we're gonna try to raise $10,000 and help send 4 kids to the camp this year.
I see more drivers aligning themselves with charities too, especially the local guys. The really local guys are really getting into it, and I hear more and more that people are doing that, and we're trying to do the same thing. I can't say nothing yet, but we're getting in line with one too, and I think that's a good thing.
Great job, Anthony.
Great job, Anthony. Yeah, Anthony does a good job.
That charity have to do with glasses?
Yeah, I know. I wear contacts, and I've worn them for like 14 or 15 years. And I finally went in and got my prescription redone here a couple of months ago. And I said, Doc, I'm having a hard time. And he says, well, it hasn't changed. Your prescription hasn't changed. You're just getting old. I was like, I didn't want to hear that, you know. The Matt Mullins charity? No, it's not Matt Mullins charity, Jim. You can donate to that charity. I've got no problems with you donating to that. Okay, Alan, we won't go there. Alan, don't go there.
Now, do you know him personally?
Alan Huey? Yeah.
Okay.
Alan used to run. We used to run RC cars together.
Okay.
Those don't hurt as much when they crack.
Put Matt's
one of the things that he's going to be used to
computer on a big screen.
Wearing his Wiley X glasses all the time, because all the sun we get when we're out there on the track, you will start getting cataracts in your older age.
Well, that's true, and I've always wore sunglasses.
So I used to drive around all the time, no matter where I was, without sunglasses, because I keep my eyes adjusted really well for the sun.
Yep.
And now I'm finding out I've got just starting up with cataract in the left eye, which is the side that's usually the sun's coming in.
Anthony Richard says, you must be a nice kid if you can stand to be there with Mullins. So we will help you this year also. Richard, I will remember that. I will remember that.
Oh, he won't forget that.
I won't forget it. So.
You missed earlier when he was telling Anthony to bring the car over to 646.
No, I got it. Yeah, they're going to put it on the pull-down rig. I got it. That's all right. Go ahead.
Now, but we might go in the shop on Monday. He might have a brand new Perez chassis ready to go.
He might too. So, and you did a really great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing you run this year. I think you've got some ability to do it. And Race 101 is a great spot. Yeah. It's a great deal for up and coming drivers. So I think you're going to be good.
Yeah, just look at Trevor. I mean,
yeah, Trevor Edwards. Trevor from Race 1. Yeah. But we really plan on applying all the knowledge we learned from Race 101 from both the side of marketing and working on the cars to try to do the best we can to get not only sponsorship, but get a front-running car. And we have 13 races this year. So hopefully we can be contending for the win in 13 races this year. That's the goal.
Hey, Anthony, is it true that you snookered Matt?
Yes, you
races?
did.
No, I did not.
I've heard it. I've heard this
Tell
story.
me about this.
No.
What was there, an agreement or something on the start?
Well,
what was it?
We qualified 6th, and then they inverted the top 6, which put us on the pole. And all of us in the field agreed that we would start in 3rd gear instead of 2nd, because if you start in 2nd, most of the time you miss the shift. So we all decided we were going to start in 3rd gear. And I just got a good start, and he still says that I started in 2nd, but I know I started in 3rd.
When the green flag drops, all bets are off. So he was like, maybe I'll go and start in this other gear.
Matt, when the green flag drops, friends all go away.
You started in 2nd gear. Because when you pulled out, Hudson, he didn't pull out a car length. He pulled out 4 car lengths from the whole field.
So he was going to turn 1, you was like across the finish line. Like,
Yeah, I'm like,
man.
that little shit. And everybody behind me said the same thing, that little shit. And we all had to chase him down.
Don't look in the mirror and just go. Because my first win out there, I earned that one. I mean, you know, I started 5th and I was leading by lap 1. But after that, I was gone. For the next 39 laps, I was gone.
I heard Terry Carroll is coming down to Pro 6.
You better have some more rear bumpers involved.
Who's that?
Late model driver.
Could be worse, bring Charlie Bryant back up.
Nah, Charlie.
Charlie, I like Charlie.
Yeah.
I'll have to tell you a story about Charlie later.
Now
No, you did a good job, and
Yeah.
you did snooker us all, and you did get to lead a lap. And the thing I really liked about you, your first race was a little different, but once I think everybody saw you run, we got more and more comfortable running around you, and you were more and more predictable. Is that the best way? I see what he's doing. I'm sitting back. I can read it now.
Yeah, like my restarts. Every restart I do is different. I mean, I don't do the same restart every time. I change it up.
Mm-hmm.
No, this was on the green flag. He couldn't go until the green flag dropped.
Okay, got it.
Green flag dropped. We all took off. He went.
You want to watch somebody how to start or restart a race, watch Scarborough. He does whatever
Yeah.
the heck he wants. I remember one time I was spotted for Leach and he's behind Scarborough. I said, all right, the restart zone's from 3 to 4, but you know it's Joe. He's going to start wherever the hell he feels like. Just stick to his bumper, go when he goes.
No, I just read that. I couldn't say that. The best I've ever seen on restarts was
Ron Hornaday is the man on restart.
Hornaday's one of them. Phil Warren, probably the best I've ever seen.
Greg Edwards is pretty good.
And I'm not taking away from anybody else, but man,
Yeah,
it just
Phil-
seemed
yeah.
like when Phil was out front, he would just, and he'd pull a car length at least.
I think
Mike was good.
anytime watching Phil Warren drive is just, you know, I mean, because back then you had Buffkin, Warren, you had the Edwards brothers, you had Charlie Bryant, you had Richard Jarvis,
Jason
Rudd
out there, Jason
and
Rudd.
That was just all them
Terry
guys.
Harris.
Let's start a petition to get Gotzi put Phil back in the car.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what? I
that
bet
would be
Phil.
awesome.
I bet Phil gets into it a couple of times this year. Not with 2 cars.
Right.
So you didn't see that.
No, I didn't see anything.
Okay.
I ain't worried about it. I don't worry about it. Yeah, so.
The show starts at 7.
Well, have fun this year.
I'll try. We're gonna do our best this year to try to run up front, win some races, get some top 5s.
So
And
do a website you want to talk to him about, or a website or anything going on?
well, I do have a website, but what I do keep up with more would be
Facebook.
my Facebook
Okay.
and my Twitter. My Facebook fan page is Anthony Perez, and you can also follow me on Twitter at Perez Racing. So we do try to keep those updated as much as we can, and whenever something comes in, we try to get it up there as soon as possible.
I don't know about Twitter yet.
Twitter's
I haven't even gone and looked at it.
I'm Facebook.
You had to get on Twitter. I mean, pretty much.
I like Facebook.
Twitter, you're going to have to get on Twitter eventually. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh god, I was watching some stuff this morning.
Every driver's got it for all their racing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's just
Elena put
pretty
out
much-
there that Kevin Harvick shushed her Monday night while Stone Cold was speaking.
And you would,
I heard about that.
You would hear stuff from like Scott Speed doing stuff. Right now,
Oh, yeah.
I think Brian Vickers and Jimmy Johnson doing some kind of
Stat Speed posted a compromising photo of his wife on his Twitter.
yeah, and he got in trouble for that.
By who'd he get in trouble by?
His wife.
I would hope so.
Matt.
So I tell you what, Twitter, just all sorts of stuff going on out there. I track a lot more people than just what the racing people are. And some of the messages you see out there, jeez, shouldn't be out there.
Richard's been on here all night, and he's been.
Well, before
It's been a blast
Yeah.
having him on here.
Is he getting keyed punch drunk out there?
He's in the office. He's got that music cranked up.
He does.
Basically,
I'm sure if you drive by the office, it's just he's probably watched his all South Boston video.
Got a beer
I didn't wreck that guy. I didn't wreck that guy.
Well, he said he wrecked somebody on here. He admitted to that.
Yeah.
Oh, he just said he hit him.
No, he said he hit him so hard it turned.
He
his-
turned
Oh,
late model into
yeah.
a Pro 6.
Well, there's a lot of story behind that, and I'll never tell you what about that. You know.
Is that an off air?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
He's scared safe.
Yeah. I'm not saying that. That's all Rick. I mean, you can
Yeah,
say that.
yeah, that's all
But
right.
yeah, that was who he was talking about was coming down to Pro 6. That was the person.
Yeah. So said he hit him so hard he turned it into a Pro
Hey, tell
6.
him that we'll come back. City
I
put
just lost my beer.
he put as lonely here
Oh,
tonight.
battery probably went away.
Well, we're coming back there anyway.
Yeah.
Are you going back up there?
I don't think about that.
He said that was clearly not my fault. At
No, it wasn't. And Rick's got a great view
I've
of
seen
that accident.
video 20 times.
Yeah.
He said, but he deserved it. You ever known a driver not to deserve it?
No,
You
that
just
that
left the room.
Yeah, his battery died.
Oh, the battery died? Okay.
I mean, I'm still in the room, but I left the room.
he left the virtual world, but he's still here. He's still with us, physically.
I think he's more in the virtual world than he is in the real world.
That's an iRacing joke. I resemble that.
Clearly shows you, Richard, how many accidents are actually your fault, though?
None! The ones where the
Rick?
race happening and he spins out trying to avoid it.
No, but the South Boston wrecks were just the people who reported on it was not reporting correctly. They wanted to call it the way that they think they saw it.
Well, that's the way it normally is.
And everybody there clearly.
About the reporting.
Okay, yeah, I'll let it go.
One of my associates.
I wonder who reported it.
Not me.
None, see? You never cause an accident.
No.
Nobody ever does.
Well, I've caused a few, but hey, what do you do?
But
You're PO'd,
the ones you're going to admit to?
Hell yeah.
There was one. There was one
Here we go.
in Grandstock that the first night I qualified fourth one night, and Marcus Mitchell blew a motor in front of me. Turn one, I ran fourth, but when the turn one, Marcus blew a motor. Oil pan just dropped off the car. Oil was covered turn one. It was like a 29 car pileup. I think you towed the car on that night. The blue
Yeah,
car.
I did, yeah, because John and I think you came over the next day to look at it.
Yeah,
We didn't take
because
it to the shop that
we
night
couldn't
and
fit.
totaled it.
We couldn't fit in the trailer.
Yeah, it was bent so bad. I remember that.
So yeah.
So, see, accidents
Hey,
happen.
honey.
So are we at a wrap up point now?
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Rick, thanks for joining. Everybody's in here. Alan, Brad, Kevin,
You had a whole bunch in there, in and out,
Rick.
in and out.
Yeah, we've had a bunch in here tonight, and it's been a blast. So thank everybody for coming in, and now he's on the phone. Anthony, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Hey.
Anytime.
Hudson, say goodbye.
Oh, bye. Sorry, it's my wife. Sorry.
Let's get out of here.
Sorry.
See
I
y'all
was doing
next
a TV
week.
show real
See
quick.
ya.
Later.